Okay, welcome everyone. We're gonna look at styles. This is basically like doing like color overlay, gradient overlay, stroke overlay, bevels, shadows, all that good stuff with your layers. So I'm just gonna type my name in with font. And if I wanted to change the color of this, I could just go to the font tools and click on red, and it will turn red. I could also do it in 3D though, but that's a little hard to do with other layers. It still works though. Um, Let me just reset my workspace back to essentials. Okay, there we go. Um, so, what if I wanted to add gradients or strokes or shadows? What would I do is double click on the layers with Austin, and then you get all these different options. The first one is the blending options. You can change the opacity. Then there's the fill opacity, which changes the opacity of the color and not the entire layer. You can just mess around with the RGB channels, but I don't really have to mess around with those too much in my own projects. Um, Bevel, this will add a 3D-ish effect to your font, basically. Um, and this can mostly be seen in the edges. Now, usually I would like to keep the size very small. I think putting it too large could be kind of an issue, and we'll lose that 3D effect. Okay, let me go back in there again and change the color. Um, so I needed to change the color so I can just show you a little bit more of the textures and contour. Basically, you can change the patterns within the font itself, so you can have like polka dots. This looks kind of old though, old style, so let me just... Yeah, the contour just basically changes the depth of the bevel. So like if you have it up, uh, the edges will thicken and be more edged out. And here is stroke. This basically adds outlines to your font. You can have the choice to position it center, inside, or outside. You can also change the size of it. You probably don't want to go too much in when you have it positioned inside. Outside is kind of more like it because it's not like inside as well, like center. You can add gradients, so you can have like one color change to another. You can do rainbow. You got all these different presets. I wouldn't really recommend using these presets. These are pretty dated. So usually I would just do like a blue with a lighter blue or a red with a darker red. You can change the direction in which the font, the gradients are positioned. So like you can have it at an angle, you can have it linear. Change the scale of it. You can have it reflective, so like you can have like a set of gradients on the left and it will reflect on the right. It really depends on the angle on how you do that. Okay. Inner shadows. This will probably create a hole effect in your font where there's shadows uh, being dropped inside the text. You can choose to have it very sharp or very soft. You can have noise in it too. I wouldn't really recommend noise um, for modern day projects. Inner glow is kind of similar, but you do have, it's more lit than like a shadow. You can change the size of it. The choke makes the glow part of the style very sharp, so I recommend like toning that down if you just want like a glaring effect. Let me turn these off real quick. Range, jitter, source, so you can have like the opposite, where instead if the glow is coming out of the edge, it can just come from the center. There's also satin, or yeah, satin. Kind of adds a weird intersection effect. Now, if we change the size of this, it will begin to blur. I like this. I think don't go too crazy with the satin. Color overlay, it just puts another color overlay over another color overlay. If you want to do that, you can probably like blend colors too, so you can like multiply. Darken, screen, lighten, all that good stuff. Gradients, I have discussed this before in the strokes. You can just basically have one color and change it to another throughout the font. This one will basically just fill the entire font instead of the outlines. So if I click on this bar, it'll change that color. You can change where it's positioned, change how it transforms throughout the scale, the angles. I've discussed the styles of the gradients before. There's radial, linear, angled. Yeah. Diamond, that's also a cool one. Okay. Patterns. As discussed before, you can add like patterns to your fill. This one will sort of work differently because it's not bevelized. In bevel, it would supposed to give out a 3D effect. This one basically just gives a fill effect where the patterns are not being popped out, they're just plain black. So that could be interesting to use sometimes. Outer glow, just like inner glow, adds a lighting effect to your layer. Except I don't know what's happening right now. I can't really seem to make the effect. Nothing's coming up. What is going on? Oh, I see. You need to change the blend mode to normal. That's something to realize when you're doing styles in Photoshop. It's easy to get confused with what blend modes you're using. So if you want to use outer glow or drop shadow, make sure you're on multiply or normal. And just like outer glow, drop shadow just basically adds a layer of depth where instead of like just glowing, it's just a shadow, just dark black shadow. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks.